welcome to Sprout for this month, where we're the Year 12s, we're leading this service today. And so we're going to start with the candle lighting. So can we get some of the leaders to come up and light the candles?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chanitnu shel Shabbat. Amen.
So we're going to start on page 64 in the Mishkan Netzer with Lecha Dodi. Pardon? 64. Oh.
Hello everyone, Shabbat Shalom. I'm Ala Medenik, your treasurer. On behalf of our Board of Governors and President Craig Levine, I welcome everyone here. Especially, it's so nice to see so young people here. Thank you, Netza, for leading our services. It's so nice actually physically to be here. We still obviously remember our lockdown times. Yesterday, a group of TBI people went to fundraise breakfast for King David School. And it was surreal to see about 400 people really happy to see each other and doing great things to raise money for King David Foundation. We are blessed with the Bar Mitzvah tomorrow. Please join us for 10 a.m. service for now. Bardas become a Bar Mitzvah. And we wish healthy Mazel Tov to Bardas and Heina families. It's almost Shavuot. Please join us Sunday, 16th of May, for Erev Shavuot services and our famous cheesecake competition, which is going on. This time, after the lockdown, it's really brought the best in our community. And despite that it was so difficult for many people to communicate with each other over the computers, which obviously for young people it's what their normal situation is, normal social life is, our actual community came together. And though financially times were very difficult for everyone, on our Pesach appeal we have the biggest number of people donating so small amounts, but everybody wants to help TBI to restore our services. And I'm pleased to mention for those who come regularly on Fridays and Saturday morning that our normal COVID-safe gathering will go ahead with normal COVID-safe kiddushes. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you.
I'm going to start on page 64, as I said before, with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalala, 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 b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalala, 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 b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Zachor Gibur Echad Ishmiyanu Eham Yuchad Adonai Echad Ushmo Echad B'Shem U'Tferet Ve'Tila Lecha Dodi likrat kala, yalala, 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 b'nei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi Okay, can we have the person with the first reading speak? You can be seated.
Rabbi Hanina would wrap themselves in his talit and stand at nightfall on Shabbat Eve and say, "Come, and we will go out to greet Shabbat the Queen." Rabbi Yanai put on his talit on Shabbat Eve and said, "Enter, O bride, enter, O bride."
Enter, O bride, that's boi chala in Hebrew. And this is a story from the old rabbis and Kabbalists in Tzvat. And so they would welcome Shabbos with L'chad Odi, and L'chad Odi was considered the Kabbalat in Kabbalat Shabbat. And it's this allusion to the Song of Songs, and it's this idea of the Shabbat Queen, God being the Shabbat Queen, and this energy of Shabbat that we welcome and we bring into our homes, and we separate our lives from the weekday and in Shabbos. And so we're going to go to Mizmor Shir next, which is on page 66. Mizmor Shir le'yom ha'Shabbat, tov le'hodot la'Adonai, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon. Mizmor Shir le'yom ha'Shabbat, tov le'hodot la'Adonai, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon. V'hagit haboker chasecha, 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 ve'emunatcha baliלות, alei asod ve'aleina, ve'alei higayon bechinot. Mizmor Shir le'yom ha'Shabbat, tov le'hodot la'Adonai, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon. Ni Adonai bepo'alecha, alecha, alecha, b'ma'aseh yadecha aranei, ma'gadlu ma'aseh Adonai me'od, amku machshevotecha. Mizmor Shir b'yom ha'Shabbat, tov le'hodot la'Adonai, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer le'shimcha elyon. Tzadik katama yifrach, yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach, yifrach, tzadik katama yifrach. Ke'eretz ba'alvanon yizke, ke'eretz ba'alvanon yizke, ke'eretz ba'alvanon yizke, yizke. Ke'eretz ba'alvanon yizke, ke'eretz ba'alvanon yizke, ke'eretz ba'alvanon yizke, yizke. Shulim, shulim bebeit Adonai, shulim bebeit Adonai, shulim, shulim bebeit Adonai, shulim bebeit Adonai. Bechatzrot Eloheinu, bechatzrot Eloheinu, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu, bechatzrot Eloheinu, bechatzrot Eloheinu, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. So can we have our second reading now?
The sages taught that there was an incident involving a non-Jewish person who came before Shammai and said to Shammai, "Convert me on the condition that you teach me the entire Torah while I am standing on one foot." Shammai sent him away, chastising him for his foolish request. The same person came before Hillel, who converted him, and said to him, "That which is hateful to you, do not do to another." That is the entire Torah. The rest is commentary. Now go study.
So we're going to go on to the Baruch Hu on page 69. And we stand for this. You guys don't have to stand. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. 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 Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Barechu et Adonai. Amevo, Amevo, Baruch Adonai, Amevo, Leolam, Leolam, Vaed. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 So we go on to the Shema, which is on page 72. And as that's a custom, you can stand or sit. Page 23. Shift Let's be seated, and we're going to turn to page 76 for the Micha Mocha. 17. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the Micha Mocha, Kohelim Adonai, Micha Mocha, Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, Osek Velen, Nora Tehilot, Osek Velen. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the velvet sea, whoa. I've been waiting in the, I've been waiting in the. So can we have reading 3 now, please?
The more you struggle to live, the less you live. Give up on the notion that you must be sure of what you're doing. Instead, surrender to what is real within you. For that alone is sure. Baruch Spinoza.
So we're going to turn to page 77 for the Hashkivenu. It's in here. Eloheinu leshalom, Amideinu malkeinu, L'chaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, Hamideinu malkeinu, L'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, So we're going to do the Veshamru next, which is on page 78.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, la'asot et ha-Shabbat b'dorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, la'asot et ha-Shabbat b'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Vayom hashvi'i sha'at vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam.
Okay, so we're going to look over to the next page. We're going to stand up and face the bimah for Adonai Svatai Taf. Page 3 for you guys. Back up your leg. I got his head. Let's start.
Open up your eyes and see like me. Open up your lips, declare me free. Look into your heart and you'll find Ahava. Open up your eyes and see like me. Open up your lips, declare me free. Look into your heart and you'll find Ahava. Adonai, Svatai Taf, Ufi Yadit, Tehilatecha. Adonai, Svatai Taf, Ufi Yadit, Tehilatecha. Open up your eyes and see like me. Open up your lips, declare me free. Look into your heart and you'll find Ahava. 'Cause
So we'll be seated now. Can we get the fourth reading?
When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. If you ever need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need them, put your arm around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sense.
Thanks, Georgia.
So we're going to turn to page 147 for the Mourner's Kaddish. And I'm going to pass my eyes around the room, and if there's a name of someone you're mourning, Gersh has a list as well.
I do have a list for Kaddish. So before we get to Kaddish, I do want to... you doing Elena?
Yeah, just done.
You doing Elena? You haven't done Elena?
I haven't done Elena. Okay, next. Do Elena first. We're actually going to do Elena first on page 144.
That's
8 for you. Okay. Actually, I don't think we need the page. Okay. Oh my God. So, I'm having trouble finding it in the Shalom. We might just do it without. Okay, we can do it without guitars. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula v'yoseh bereshit, shehu noteh shamayim v'yoseh haaretz, umoshav yekaro b'shamayim mima'am, ushkinatu zov b'govei maromim, Hu Eloheinu einot, ve'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, v'nelech kol al haaretz, bayom ha'hu. Bayom ha'hu, ki yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
And I'm going to invite you to remain standing just for a few more brief moments. Before we arrive at Kaddish Yatom, I do want to recognize and acknowledge and appreciate, as Allah did in the opening remarks, as we welcome all of you to our Bima. For those of you that haven't been on the Bima leading a service since your bar or bat mitzvah, or like ever, I want to thank you for having the courage and the confidence to lead our community in prayer. It is a big deal. I recall the first time I led a service on this Bima. I was also, like many of you, in year 12. The rabbi at the time found his way to telling me at the end of services that we all have to begin somewhere. Thankfully, that rabbi is now one of my dearest friends, and he's probably watching us. Shabbat Shalom, John, who's got used to watching services through streaming. And I want to just thank you, because it's so important for the future of our congregation that our young people feel both comfortable in the synagogue and confident enough to pass on our tradition and create their own, whether it be through the Mishkan Netzer or through the various additions that you brought to the service. Before we arrive at Kaddish and recognize that amongst the young people in this congregation there are also others who have come here to remember a loved one and offer the words of Kaddish Yatom, I do want to recognize that we are still making our way from Pesach to Shavuot, from that redemptive moment out of Egypt to that revelatory moment of receiving Torah at Sinai. Shavuot is becoming next weekend, beginning next Sunday. But in advance of that, and in preparation for that, we continue to count the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Blessed are you, eternal our God, creator of the universe, who has made us holy through the observance of the mitzvot and commanded us, encouraged us, strongly suggested to us that we mark this time. Hayom echad va'arba'im yom shehem chamisha shavua v'shisha yamim la'omer. Today is the 41st day of the Omer, which is exactly 5 weeks and 6 days since we sat around our Pesach table. And so from that remembrance we turn to those who are no longer with us, to those who we are remembering through Shiva and through Shloshim and Yotzeit. You can find the words of Kaddish Yatom in Mishkan Netzer on page 147. And before I invite those in the room who have additional names to share, I will recognize that there are far too many in our community at this time that we are remembering, far too many families that we are supporting. Amongst them, those who are still observing a Shiva, who have most recently lost a loved one. We think of the passing of Michael Cohen and Jeffrey Tobias, both members and friends of the congregation. We also stretch our thoughts and our hearts a little bit further from here to India as we think of Mohinder Mahajan, father of Deepak Mohinder, who spent so much time protecting us, whether it be here at the TBI or at the King David School, who lost his beloved father to COVID-19 just in recent days. We also think of those who were taken in the last 30 days and whose Shloshim we are still observing. Azrael Bailey Cohen, Bunty Davis, Jill Harris, Alan Lowenthal, Edward Morris, Leonard Sharp, Roman Silva, and Max Weinberger. And to these names we think of those of our loved ones who were taken at this season in years gone by. We think of Sonia Abrams, Shlomo Arad, Harry Benjamin, Susan Bentata, Ron Blaschke, Sarah Bock, Cecilia Bram, Pessa Chapman, Ronald Condi, Maria Rubio, Bianca Eckhaus, Louis Eisfeld, Berta Frey, Chaim Frey, Daniel Frey, Basia Gotovsky, Isabel Jane Goddard, John Hurst, Walter Heiner, Arthur Heyman, Valerie Jacobson, Margaret Moore, Paul Stephen Nadler, Jacob Nakamas, Alexander Levy, Tony Opat, Joe Raymond, Fanny Schiff, Ilse Sinclair, Vasa Grabman, Felix Schilberstein, Jacob Silberstein, Julia Schilberstein, Sevek Spiegelstein, Joseph Syrup, Julius Thurin, and Willie Wolf. To these names, if you have other names of remembrance that you'd like to add to our memorial, or if I inadvertently mispronounced the name of your loved one, please add their names to our consciousness, to our thought, and to our prayer as my eyes meet yours. We think of those named, as well as those whose names lie deep within our hearts, as we offer the words of Kaddish Yatom on page 147. Yitgadal v'yikadash shomer rabba, ba'amad divrach yirotei v'amlich mochotei, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'cheir l'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbam u'varach l'olam ha'mayamaya, yiparach v'yishtabah v'yipa'ah v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'tada v'talei v'talal shmei d'kodisha, le'elam min kol brichata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, daminan ba'alma v'imru, Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony and high bring peace to all of us, to all who mourn, and to that we say, amen. I'm going to ask you to be seated for one more moment before I hand back to you guys. I'm sure you've got a closing song or two. And just make just one or two brief additional announcements. Shavuot is coming next week. It is a wonderful festival opportunity to gather and to celebrate. But then beyond that, in the week that follows after Shavuot. We have another festival which is taking increasingly importance in the life of our community and of our movement, as we in particular join with many of our young people in recognising our pride and our proudness as a community, as we celebrate Pride Shabbat in 2 Fridays' time here at TBI, and then on the following Sunday join with Netzer and a number of other youth movements in participating on behalf of the Jewish community in the annual Pride March. I know it doesn't feel like midsummer. COVID took midsummer away from us, the Midsummer Festival, but it didn't take away from us the importance of standing up for our values, showing our support of all members of our community and affirming our fundamental belief in B'Tselem Elohim, that each and every one of us were created in the divine image. What are we finishing with?
Well, we've got Anna Elna next, which isn't in the Siddurim, but it's call and response mostly, so just follow Sarah. We're doing Anna Elna next. What? It's not in the Siddur. Did say that. Okay, but it's a prayer for healing. What?
What are the words?
Anna Elna Rafana La. Oh.
You'll catch on very quickly.
We catch on, yeah.
Quite, yeah, very repetitive.
So Ariella is going to come up and give some announcements for Netzer.
Hello. No, I'm pretty loud. Yes?
Ari?
Hello. Very exciting to have you all here. We actually only have half of Netzer here because the other half is at the Leo Beck Centre, which is very exciting. Netzer got asked to run 2 services this week. We're doing very well. And sorry. Part of doing well is the camp that's coming up. It's on the 29th of June to the 4th of July. We'll leave some flyers at the front. It's going to be a good one. It's going on. There's also Sunday programs every Sunday for juniors at TBI 3 to 5. Also very exciting. And
What's the theme of the camp?
the theme of the camp is Wonderland. The other things, so we've got some Sunday programs coming up. We're going to do a scavenger hunt this week. Next week we're going to do a Tikkun Leil, Shabbat, TED Talks and cheesecake. Week after we have an AZYC Join the Movement Festival, but you should have already joined Netzer, so it shouldn't be a problem. And Tikkun Leil is coming up, which we've got a couple events. We've got the AZYC event and the Hubbo / all the other movements event where one of our own leaders is making a very interesting talk. Message any Netzer leaders to find out more information. And thank you, Karen.
Okay.
Thank you, Ariella.
Thank you, Ariella. That leads us into our final song, the Netzer song. Hey. נפקעת בנצר ומצבץ עומדים ביחד מקצבץ נצר אחד לקבל
154.
נצר מחשוד מחשמל יד שמה לישראל אנחנו החלוצים של נצר אנחנו החלוצים של נצר חציצה זורע וציצות תיקון עולם חציצה בדרך אל האושר חציצה בדרך אל האושר הנה פרחנו יחד מההקלה וואו אנחנו נוח אלוהים ורוצה וואו סוללים את הדרך לעלייה תרועת נצר נפלא נשיר ביחד שיר ביחד וואו 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 וואו
Shabbat Shalom. We'll say goodbye to those people who are joining us online. Invite everyone in the room to join us at the rear of the sanctuary for Kiddush and Motzi.